Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar brought to you by the Dairy Women's Network in association with Primary ITO. Today's webinar is called Literacy and Numeracy in the Dairy Sector with Marianne Farrell. First of all, let me introduce you to Marianne. She's the National Literacy and Numeracy Manager at Primary ITO. She's worked at Primary ITO for 13 years, beginning as a training advisor and moving through learning support roles to her current one. Marianne's enthusiastic about learner success and believes that all learners should be provided the same opportunities to achieve. It's all about a level playing field. Marianne has also been involved in several research projects, including ones on dyslexia, mentoring, adult literacy and numeracy, and currently a Māori project on Māori achievement. Marianne and her family live in the Rangitikei and is also a marriage celebrant in her spare time. So without any further ado, let me hand you over to Marianne herself and she can run through today's webinar. Marianne, good morning, over to you.
Good morning, thank you, Richard. Kia ora and welcome, everybody. Today I'm going to give an overview of literacy and numeracy in the dairy sector and how the Dairy Women's Network can be involved. So literacy and numeracy is an issue for all of us to be worried about. Why? Well, firstly, what is literacy and numeracy? Literacy is defined as the written and oral language people use in their everyday life, learning and work. It includes reading, writing, spelling and listening. Skills in this area are essential for good communication in the modern world. Numeracy is the ability to understand and work with numbers to solve problems in real life. Repeated international surveys confirm there is a major literacy and numeracy deficit in adults in the New Zealand workforce. At least 40% of adults have literacy and numeracy skills below the level required to effectively perform in their job, and the primary sector is likely to have at least 48%. There are many reasons for low literacy, the main one being unidentified and unsupported dyslexia or other neurodiverse conditions, but it can also be from poor attendance due to moving around, illness, poverty, family issues, class sizes, and quality of teaching. So why should we be worried? Well, low literacy is often seen as something to be ashamed of. Most people are reluctant to disclose their shortcomings, and a literacy deficit is often hidden by using other strategies to manage. Not disclosing, however, can lead to dangerous situations in a farming environment, as well as errors and mistakes when instructions are misunderstood or unable to be read. Mixing chemicals, administering animal health products, incorrect or incomplete health and safety documentation, and their inability to read instructions leads to productivity and safety issues. There is a reluctance to take up training. Most training is practical with an element of theory, but the bookwork is the off-putting part. There is also a reluctance to adapt to new technology, especially if it is significantly different to previous technology or requires a higher level of reading or numeracy. There will also be a reluctance or inability to take career opportunities, such as promotions, as that could involve monthly reporting, reading spreadsheets, and working out fee budgets. We can all think of people who will not progress their careers even though they appear practically able. Low literacy and numeracy can cause social disconnection. It affects the way we communicate. Social media requires a level of literacy to participate, and the internet requires literacy to navigate. Not only those with low literacy and numeracy struggle with financial literacy, but it is significantly worse if a person is unable to budget or understand their finances. The minefield of credit cards, interest rates, hire purchase, and afterpay can all be a trap for those who don't understand how the world of money works. What causes low literacy and numeracy in the dairy sector workforce? Well, low literacy is prevalent in the dairy workforce for several reasons. We find that many dairy sector employees have joined the industry at a young age. They weren't enjoying or doing well at school, often because they were practical people and employment in the industry was available. In the past, schools have encouraged non-achieving practical students to go farming. So they did. Many of them have done very well, and there are many highly successful employers and employees who have low literacy, especially those who have dyslexia and or a partner with good literacy who can support them in their careers. Low literacy in English is also a factor in the dairy sector, as there are many employees for whom English is not their first language. Many of them will have good written English, but for them the problem is oral English, both speaking and listening. The good old Kiwi accent, the speed at which we speak, and the slang words and phrases we use, particularly on farm, mean that often it seems like New Zealand farmers are not speaking English at all. Can you imagine what an employee must think when a farmer tells them to jump on the bike, shoot down the race, and grab the cows? So what is Primary ITO doing about it? For those who train with us, we administer the TEC, Literacy and Numeracy Assessment, to those who haven't already achieved a previous qualification. We also text new trainees, asking them to contact us if they need support with their reading, writing, or English. Our staff are trained to pick up on literacy and numeracy deficits, such as poor handwriting and very slow reading. Other signs, such as a reluctance to read out loud, taking forms home to fill in, and non-completion of their ITO paperwork, are dead giveaways. Our training advisors are confident to have a conversation with the trainee or employer and offer support. We offer screenings for dyslexia and access support for those learners. Some of the support we can access are C-Pen readers, which read out the typed word, reader writers, voice-to-text software, and other apps. We also have advice on strategies for managing dyslexia. We have a large group of mentors. They are volunteers who support trainees to complete their training, either at study nights or one-on-one. Some are industry experts, such as trainees and employers, and others are enthusiastic and supportive community volunteers. We also arrange study nights. They provide an opportunity for either group work or dedicated time to work on assessments without distractions. They're very beneficial for those trainees with literacy challenges and those with time challenges. We have also been trialling some Kiwi English for Migrants workshops with 2 large employers who each employ over 10 migrant workers. The workshops cover off Kiwi slang and sayings as well as farm terminology. We also cover Kiwi customs, social behaviour, and the Kiwi way of living. The aim is to improve on-farm communication and safety. We've also held a workshop for managers where we talk about customs from the country of their employees, Kiwi slang, and how confusing our terms are, and ways to interact that lead to successful communication, such as writing instructions down if they feel their employee does not understand. The government does supply or provide literacy and numeracy programs for New Zealand citizens or permanent residents, and we support employers to access the Workplace Literacy Fund and trainees to access literacy funding. A little bit on dyslexia and why it is relevant. So dyslexia is a common neurodiverse condition where there is a difficulty with reading, writing, and spelling. In the primary sector, which includes dairy, there are a large number of employers and employees with dyslexia and other related neurodiverse conditions such as dyscalculia, which is a difficulty with numbers, ADHD, Erland syndrome, which is a difficulty in visual processing, and other related conditions. This is not a disadvantage, as most are practical and out-of-the-box thinkers. The tricky part is putting pen to paper, and there are now many ways to work. using technology which takes away those disadvantages, voice-to-text software, apps, etc. Irlen syndrome is easily supported with coloured lenses. What can the Dairy Women's Network do to help? You can talk about literacy and numeracy frequently. Ignoring the issue does not help. And if you can bring it out in the open so that our employers and employees know that it's nothing to be ashamed of, then they will seek help and we can support them. You can also be a signpost to let people know where to find help. There are many websites on the internet where you can point them, or you can talk to me. You can find me at Primary ITO. You could be a mentor and encourage others to be a mentor as well. We know that it works. And you could also be a collaborative partner in any projects that make a difference. The Dairy Women's Network is a very powerful lobbying force, and your influence holds a lot of weight. One final thought: those who have learned to read are then able to read to learn. Thank you very much. Back to you, Richard.
Lovely, thank you, Marianne. So all that's left for me to do now at this stage, guys, is to say a huge thank you to Marianne and our friends at Primary ITO for helping us to put on this bite-sized webinar. And we look forward to seeing you back online with us another day at Dairy Women's Network. Until then, have a great day, and thanks and goodbye. Cheers, everybody.